What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man. And yes, I am back at it again. And this is New Amsterdam, Season 2, Episode 13, discussion/review, man. And I apologize for being late. I felt a little under the weather yesterday, so I had to post it today. And I apologize for that. But, man, before I even talk about this episode, let's talk about the fact of how emotional and how heavy and impactful this episode was. Because let's be real, every episode is very emotional and drama based because that's what New Amsterdam is, and we love it for that aspect. But just being real, man, this episode was just so much more from dealing with all of the patients and everything that was set to the side to deal with the our main characters in their lives was such, oh boy, it was so dramatic and emotional. I'm over here, my heart couldn't take it, man. It was so crazy. There were so many ups and downs and moments that I was like, no, this can't be happening. It is happening. This is happening. There was so much. So before I continue to talk about it, I also got to bring up the point, Max and Sharp. I don't care what anybody says. We've been hoping and we've been wishing, but I feel like this episode, we made more strides than we have in the first season and in the past 12 episodes of this season. This episode really gave us a real inkling into maybe, okay, this might be a real relationship building up and in the progress of happening. So I'm super excited about that. And the moment I'm talking about is definitely at the end when they were deciding what they would do for each other if one of them was to die. And at the very beginning when we see Sharp and Max having a conversation when Sharp is trying to get him not to approve something that would be better for patient care because she brought it up because she doesn't want to seem like she's going behind Castro's back and running to Max. When she was like, don't show me favoritism. And Max was like, I do favor you. So, you know, it is what it is. I favor you. So that's what it is. And I was like, no, he didn't say that. Max he just outright said, well, I favor you. Of course. Come on, man. Okay, let's get to the episode because if not, I'm going to dwell on Max and Sharp all day long. So we have Max and Sharp going through some things. We have Reynolds kind of debating whether if he wants to take this job that was offered to him in San Francisco. We have Bloom breaking rules this episode. We have VJ kind of being overbearing to Ella. And we have Iggy going through some complications with his patient that parallels with his real life about his father and about him to his son. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode, and we even have the board lady, I can't think of her name, kind of breathing down Max's neck this episode too as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on with our characters. So let's talk about it and dive right into it, man. So this episode we see at the very beginning, we see this man driving a Lincoln or something like that. I think that's what it was. Anyway, and he drops this lady off and she looks very sickly. And I was wondering what was going on. And he drops her off, sits her on the outside of New Amsterdam, and he just drives off. I thought he was her driver. I was like, what's going on? Okay, so she looks sick and he's taking her to another hospital. Truth was, this man dropped her off from another hospital because they didn't want to increase their mortality rate, which is a sad thing, and that happens in hospitals in real life, which is so sad, man. They don't want to increase their mortality rate, so they dump these bodies off on other hospitals. And Max even finds out that New Amsterdam does the same thing. And he goes and takes all of the patients that New Amsterdam dumped off on someone else and brings them back and creates a palliative care wing at New Amsterdam. And it was so lovely. Now, when it first happened, we all know Max does a lot of stuff and it's very rational. It's kind of like a heat of the moment type thing. And he's just, you know what? I feel like doing it, so I'm going to do it. And that's what I thought this was again. And I was like, well, Max, you didn't really think this through because every time he started setting it up and it was going places, it kind of got brought back down. And in the long run, it panned out. But I thought it was, I really thought it was going to crash because all of these people, they didn't seem like they really wanted it. And all of our main cast, they each took a patient individually, and all of the patients were feeling some type of way. But at the end of the episode, they all got through to their patients, and it was so absolutely wonderful, man. We have Bloom taking care of the woman that we first seen at the very beginning of the episode with the heart problem, where her body was rejecting the heart transplant. And then her daughter comes, and she's pregnant, and the lady has a DNR. her daughter starts to have her baby, and she wants to be allowed to see her granddaughter, and she has a DNR. Now Reynolds doesn't want to revive her. Bloom does, and Bloom does it anyway because it's Bloom. Now in that whole moment, we know that Reynolds had got a call from the doctor, medical director person from San Francisco, and he was debating the whole time. We knew he was debating about whether he's leaving New Amsterdam or not. And I feel like everything that Bloom said to him when she laid out the facts of, it was the right thing to do. And Reynolds was looking at, like, well, she could have been brain dead. You could have broken some ribs. There could have been a multitude of complications that happened. And he didn't want to risk any of that. Bloom didn't care because that's what Max would have done. Sharp, Iggy, and Dr. Kapoor. They all would have just bent the rules to try to bring this lady back. And she laid out some harsh realities for Reynolds that, well, you're the only one that don't want to break the rules. You're the only one that doesn't want to step outside the lines. So you're the one that's out of place here. And I was like, man, I wish she wouldn't have said that, because now it's at the moment to where he was already thinking about it. He didn't really want to leave because, he cherished all these guys. But now with Bloom just stating out straight, it's facts, sure. But the way she just came across and said it, Reynolds had made that choice, man. And at the end of the episode, he called the doctor back and decided to take the job. I'm hoping there's something else that kind of pushes him not to take it. But as of right now, I see him taking the job. So then we also have Iggy dealing with another patient that's dying as well, and he wants Iggy to get in contact with his father. And I love this episode so much because, especially some of the cases, they parallel so well with our main cast. And Iggy is feeling some type of way about his father at this moment and how he's neglecting his son, and he talks his father into reconciling with the son, even though the son just mentioned it. Well, I hate you. I've always hated you. And it has Iggy feeling some type of way. And at the end of the episode, we see Iggy also having a good time with his son. He's cutting off his phone. He's really being involved in his son's life. And I love how it paralleled so well with what was going on with Iggy's real life and how he felt about his father as well. Then we have Sharp. And honestly, man, I want to give Castro the benefit of the doubt, because I feel like she's a good doctor, but she just doesn't care about people. And when Sharp tells her that, she wanted to have these medical shrooms given to her patient to, trying to really just settle him down because, he feels some type of way about life, death, and numbers and everything. Because he's a doctor. He's smart. So he felt some type of way. And Sharp was just trying to ease his pain and trying to bring him down and kind of just make it more reasonable and understandable for him. And Castro didn't want to hear it. She was like, no. But she was like, well, I imagine you'd run to Max anyway. And I was thinking to myself, well, she could run to Max because Max favors her. Okay, so he doesn't favor you. And she took it anyway, and she used the nurse. I can't think of his name for save my life. That's always down in the emergency room. And he mixed it up, and he gave it to her patient. And Sharp's patient didn't really parallel with her, but like she helped him out nonetheless. And the dude that works in the emergency room was like, you got to get me more for Burning Man. I was like, okay, so we're just passing out shrooms. And then she gave it to him, and then it didn't really start to take effect until like the ending of the episode where he saw the snowflakes and he was just spinning around the room. And I'm assuming when the white light ended, and that was him dying on screen. But his relationship and his him and Sharp's contact back and forth was really nice. We got to see some moments between them two, and we got to see Sharp kind of reach a different understanding from what the dude was feeling, and kind of see how they kind of meshed together. And that was nice. It was a different side of Sharp, and hers didn't really parallel with her, but it was nice to see. Then we have VJ's patient. Now, VJ's dealing with his patient, but also at the same time, he's also dealing with the fact that, he's trying to treat Ella like he's overbearing when it comes to Ella. He's fixing her 5-course meal dinners. He's fixing her a buffet for breakfast. He's worried when she's not coming home at a reasonable hour. He's staying up all times of night trying to wait for her to get home. And she was like, I understand where she was coming from. It was 9 o'clock when she got here. He was like, well, 9 or 7, give or take. So, he's a little overbearing, and it's a lot for Ella because she's not used to that. And she tells him that when he confronts her because she gave away his lunch. And she was like, she's not used to that. That's not what she wants. She just wants him to be there for her, but not be overbearing as well. And he didn't really kind of grasp that concept, but by the end of the episode, he did. And I love the fact that he did that. And he just laid out the cornflakes, which she wanted that night. And he stayed up, but he was waiting in his room. And when she texted him that she was home, he went to sleep. So that was nice and lovely. Then we also had his patient. He wanted to give her a living wake because that's what he wanted. She didn't really want that, but he felt like that's what she needed. So he gave it to her anyway, and he was listening and kind of understood why she didn't want it, but he gave it to her anyway. And long story short, she actually really enjoyed it. She felt good by having it, and also at the same time, with her giving the living wake, we also found out that VJ noticed that she wasn't dying. She had a bacterial infection, her and her dog, one that was containable between both humans and animals, which is a dog, but it was very, very treatable. So she wasn't dying. And then at the end, when he told her that, she was like, well, I'm glad that you gave me the living wake. It let me see, it let me explore all my feelings, because she always kept her feelings bottled up. And at the end of her moment, the guy that she shared her feelings with at the living wake showed up with flowers and brought her dog. So it was a nice resolution all around. And then we get to see one of my favorite moments is Max having an assistant, which is the lady that worked for the city council in Yonkers. This lady was epic. She's no Todd, but she was epic, man, and she laid it out on the line. And so she helped Max a lot this episode. And I remember the board lady was like, well, I'm hoping you're here to stay. And she was like, it's temporary. But it was so nice to see her and Max finally have an assistant. And one moment that I also really enjoyed was when the board lady told Max that, well, the guy that was pledging the $5 million decided to back out. So Max went and found the guy, changed the wing to his name, and called it something called Palliative Care Wing, and put this dude on camera in front of all these people and live streaming services and everything, and had this man sign a $5 million check, which he agreed to from the jump. But he always backs out because that's the type of person he was, because he's stingy and he didn't want to share his money. But they put him on camera, made him sign the large check in front of all these people in the news outlets, so he had no choice and he couldn't back out, man. Tell me that wasn't epic. And then we end the episode with Sharp's patient, I'm assuming, finally dying, but he got to experience such a wonderful hallucination before he died. But dude, let's be real. The moment that we all loved, I loved every moment. It was nice. And the lady that had the heart problem, she got to see her granddaughter and everything. But the moment that we all loved was seeing Sharp and Max have a detailed conversation. Granted, it was about dying in the end of the hallway. Come on, man. I need them together like pronto, man. This is your boy, Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash that like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.